Sorry, so I forgot what the last thing was said, but basically, this is the story of Hanukkah. Sorry, every people is a divine people, and everyone has their own divine mission. We're all created with a spark of godliness within us. But the Jewish soul is something that's unique. It's something that's special. It's something that's attributed only to certain people, and it's an enormous responsibility, and it's something that we can't shrug off. And it's things like Hanukkah which remind us of this fact, and it's also things like these terrorist attacks which remind us of these things. At this point, you have to be blind to say that you're going to be able to forget about Judaism or Jews. The world will not let you forget, unfortunately. And instead of shrugging off the responsibility to the next generation, why not try a little bit just to learn a little more, to do a little more? And the Rebbe was a big encourager of not intellectually debating people, but getting them on the street and putting out the film. Actions will change you. Put a little charity every day. And when you put it, know you're putting it not because you get that good selfish feeling that you get when you give charity. It's a great feeling, not because of that. Because God Himself is telling you to give charity. And same thing with phylactery, same thing with keeping Shabbos. I encourage any of you, seek out, go to anyone, if you're friends with me on Facebook, anyone, get in touch with, or go to a Chabad Center and just ask to spend the Shabbos with them. The experience that you're missing out on Shabbos, it can't be put into words, and unfortunately we can't videotape it. We can't share it with you. We can only tell you it's an oasis in time. It's a magical experience. There were actually a few things that there were three things they wanted to eradicate from the Jews. They thought if they can get rid of these three things in times of Hanukkah, that there'd be no more Judaism. So one was the blessing of the new month. By that is, that's what we determine when the holidays are going to fall out. The holidays are determined, the court establishes when the new moon falls out. And that's how we know when to celebrate Passover, when to celebrate Sukkot, when to celebrate Shavuos. Shabbos, they want to eradicate Shabbos observance. And the bris milah, the commandment to circumcise the foreskin of our male children. And interestingly, all these three things are remembered in Hanukkah, in that there can't be a Hanukkah because it's 8 days long without a Shabbos. There can't be a Hanukkah without a Rosh Chodesh because it starts on the 25th day of Kislev. That's when the temple is dedicated, and it always goes into Tevis, so you always celebrate Rosh Chodesh Tevis during Hanukkah. And it's 8 days. 8 days is the amount of time we actually wait to give a bris milah, to give the circumcision on the male. So these things are eternal things. They're going to be with us forever, and the Jews are going to be with us forever. And you, as a Jew, are here. You're trapped in this lifetime. You know, a lot of times in our generation, they'll take a Jew and they'll psychoanalyze him and they'll tell him all these problems he has and why he's depressed, basically. And they give him the Prozac and like all these drugs to make him happy. And simply put, what you're discounting is the fact that his soul is crying out to God at all times and all places. The Jew will never be happy being this secular entity who walks around the world with money or with fame or with acclaim or with all kinds of earthly delights, with food and with women or with whatever it is that the heart runs after. That's not the Jew. That's not what a Jew is. That's not who a Jew is. A Jew is a soul trapped inside a body for a certain duration of time. And it's this kind of environment that leads him to have what they call, imbalances in brain chemistry and all kinds of emotions that are erratic or sporadic or they don't fit in with a time. And why are you depressed? Why are you sad? Jews experience different phenomenons emotionally and intellectually and psychologically simply because their soul's trapped in bodies, and every now and again the soul cries out, and it does so it could be a very violent way, it could be in a very passive way, it could be in a very aggressive way, it has a full spectrum of emotion, the soul. And when you go to these types of doctors that totally discount the soul, all of a sudden it's Tishrei time and a Jew becomes depressed. It could be you need Prozac. It could be that your soul is looking back at the last 12 months and going, where was I? What did I do? What did I come and accomplish? And to a secular Jew, it sounds like a foreign concept, but this is reality. The Jew cannot divorce himself of the soul. It's a precious, precious gift, and it's something that we have to carry around with us. We have no other choice. And to think that you're going to be able to mute it out with eating whatever it is you want to eat and desecrating Sabbath as many times as you want to, it's simply not the case. The soul's not going anywhere. It has no choice. It's trapped in this body. And believe me, it's trapped here for a reason. God doesn't do anything without exact calculations. The fact that you are a Jew and you have a Jewish soul is only because God knows you could take the burden of at times connecting to God through learning Torah, through doing a positive commandment, through encouraging others. There's nothing done without calculation. The fact that you're born a Jew means that you have the potential to be Jewish, and you can do it one step at a time, one day at a time. So this is to me the message of Hanukkah. Just another timely bit of information. There's a Lubavitch custom anyway that on the night of the 25th of December, we don't learn Torah until Chatzos, until after midnight, because we don't want to add the vitality of the time. Also, a few more customs of Hanukkah besides lighting the menorah. By the way, in the Gemara, there's a discussion between Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai. There's two schools of thought that always oppose, except for 7 times they oppose each other. And in the end, the halacha comes out to Beis Hillel, except for a few times. But anyway, Beis Shammai says like this: on the first night of Hanukkah, I want you to light 8 candles. So Beis Hillel says, why? Because he says the miracle I know it's going to last for 8 days. So light on the first night 8 candles, and then the second night 7 candles. Only 7 days left of the miracle. So show there's 7 days left of the miracle, 6, 5, and he wants you to descend. Beis Hillel says the opposite. On the first night 1, to show it's 1 night of Hanukkah, the first night. So it says when Mashiach comes, we're going to paskin according to Beis Shammai, but for now we all do according to Beis Hillel. And it's one of the few things, the Shulchan Aruch rules, that everyone does the mitzvah hiddur shiva hiddur, the most extravagant way, the most beautiful way, the way that gives the most attention to detail in the mitzvah, by lighting 1 candle the first night, 2 candles the second night, 3 candles the third night. They should burn after nightfall, I believe a half hour after nightfall. We have a custom to eat dairy foods on Hanukkah, because there was a certain lady, Yehudis, during the war, she brought in one of these generals to her tent, and I guess the assumption was they're going to have some kind of relations, so she served him wine and cheese. So he fell asleep, so she took a spike and she killed him. She put a spike through his head. This is something, so to commemorate that, we have dairy foods. And it's not God forbid, a way to glorify violence. It's not what Judaism is about. It's just a way to glorify that a certain miracle happened, that an actual woman was able to take down a leader of an entire army. Was a big miracle. So the way she did it was with cheese. We don't glorify the violence, we glorify the cheese. So we have cheese, and of course foods in oil. We talked about the beauty of olive oil before. And Chanukah gelt. Chanukah gelt is you give money to kids. So by Lubavitch, I have a beautiful thing that right after Hanukkah ends in the month of Tevis, the beginning. Hey Tevis, if you go to Kahus online, they have a book sale. Every book almost is 50% off. I strongly encourage you to take the money you get from Hanukkah and buy a Jewish book. There's nothing more beautiful, there's nothing more connecting, there's nothing more appropriate. And just the fact that Hey Tevis is a separate celebration about basically a bookcase that was in Lubavitch between the family of the Rebbeim. And it came back, it was on Hey Tevis. And so the bookstore, to commemorate the fact that the books are in Lubavitch, they have a special sale. There's nothing more fitting, more appropriate than to take this money and to go and buy a Jewish book and to connect to your Jewish identity. You're going to see a wealth of wisdom. You're going to see intellectually stimulating ideas, concepts of spiritual realities that you never knew existed. And it's something to just wake you up and just help you shift gears and make you shift your perspective as to how you see yourself, a spiritual entity in a physical world, and how you relate to the world in general. So I strongly recommend you to do that with your Hanukkah gelt. And any other customs? The dreidel, people know why do we play dreidel. So during this decree, the Jews were not allowed to study